views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Hey, everybody. Super welcome. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Welcome to Talk Radio to Thrive By. Thank you all for tuning us in and turning us on. Mr. Benny.
Yes.
Howdy.
Yes, howdy. Happy
Did you have
Monday.
a good weekend?
I did,
Have a
thank
good
you.
weekend?
Yes, ma'am.
I know. It was a pretty good weekend. We're really kind of getting some really juicy weather, but I got to tell you, I woke up the other day and I had to scrape my window.
Uh-oh, already?
Uh-oh.
You must be, because you're a little further north than I am,
I'm in
about like 20
Bothell.
miles. All right, so 20 miles can make a big difference on
It's a big difference.
Yeah.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like up on the hill, like up higher.
Like on a mountaintop or something?
Honestly, scraping my window. And I had to do a little check to say to myself, well, wait a minute. What month are you in? What planet are you on? All of the above.
Happens. Sometimes that does.
I know. You getting ready for Halloween?
Yeah, haven't really done so much. I've got the boys all ready to go for, which is kind of nice. One of my sons is going to recycle his outfit from last year, so that's a good thing. Going to save mom and dad some money there. And
really?
yeah, then we're going to have, Iron Man's pretty simple. He just wants to continue with that. And then the other, other son, the twin, because I have twins, he wants to be a ninja. That shouldn't be too hard to figure out that either.
Okay, good.
So we got that all taken care of. For me, I'm still up in the air. You know me, I usually, the last week to go is usually when I start jamming out on it.
Yeah, well, I got a friend that's like, she went to clown school.
Okay.
And so she's like a great, funny clown.
Okay.
I said, no, dude, do not be a clown this year. And she's like, what are you talking about? And we were sitting there with the kids over the birthday this weekend, and they're like, oh, no, that would be, what's her name, Pepperstone or Pepper something or something from that movie,
From
It.
the movie It, yeah.
From the movie It. And they're like, no, don't come to the door as a clown. Are you kidding? And it's like, oh my gosh, how do these kids all know that like this movie that's like 1,000,000 years old, that, what was it, Tim Curry played in the movie?
Right.
Yeah. That now everybody's like, no, don't dress up as the clown. So we'll have to check in after Halloween.
It's a tough call there. You know, clowns have always kind of been getting a bad rap the last decade or so. So it's really, really.
Really a bad rap in the last decade or so. But, it's gotten me to think a little bit that I could probably dress up pretty good and be a little bit scary answering the door in that kind of outfit. Yeah. But, my friends say, why don't you just not dress up? That can be scary, Pat.
Hey.
Yeah. They're like, you without your makeup. Yep. That's like... Yep.
They don't deserve to be your friend, Pat, if they're saying stuff like that.
Listen.
Come on.
Honestly, Pistol Packin' Patty is what Benny calls me, but that's not going to fly this year. Talking about flying, we have Laura Meeks joining us here today. Fly High Living with Laura Meeks. And listen, today's show is, and what we're talking about is, what does it mean to live life at 10,000 feet? Now, for somebody like me, Benny, you know this, and you've seen my skydiving pictures. That's like a cool thing, to be hanging out at 10,000 feet. But what does it mean? What happens when we put our lives together and we look at the changes we want to see in the world, and then we actually enact them and do them? But beyond all of that, what does it really mean to say yes to the things that you truly desire in life, and then actually take action to do them. You know, this is for me, introducing all of you to Laura is kind of special for me, because I've been working with Laura now for a couple of months, and I will tell you that in the weeks to come, you're going to get to spend time with Laura every month, and some of you more than that. But here we are with bringing a message to the world right now that the world needs. Very sought after life coach, professional speaker. She's also a fabulous book author, certified life mastery consultant, and lives her life from this place of centeredness, groundedness, spiritual direction, all of the above. Today, you're going to hear a little bit about what's to come. What does it mean to really tap into fly high living? What does that mean? And then how is it that Laura has been able to live her life as the pinnacle of transformation? Laura, it's great to have you here. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show, Pat. Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is going to be fun today.
Totally.
Lot of interesting stuff to talk about. And we didn't even talk about Halloween yet.
We didn't talk about Halloween yet.
Yeah, I love Halloween. We have a really great Halloween party. And I have, I traditionally have a Cinderella dress that I absolutely love. But this year I'm thinking I'm going to do cat face makeup.
Oh, so is it like a Catwoman? Is it like a Catwoman deal or almost?
You like do your nose and whiskers.
Oh, yeah.
So your face looks like a cat or a tiger. So I thought, well, that would be a little twist on Cinderella.
Yeah. Well, you know, I heard about this like really cool radio person, Dr. Pat. I think I'm going to like dress up as her a little bit.
I could do that.
Benny's like boring. You know,
that is not true. I do not. No, come on, really?
I'm thinking about what I could be this year. This is my favorite, one of my favorite holidays. I'll tell you what I learned about Halloween as a favorite holiday. Do not do what I did. Do not make it your anniversary date. Don't do that. Don't make Halloween your anniversary date, because there you go. What happens when you break up? Well, that's a whole nother show.
That is a horror story.
That is like, oh, can you believe I actually did that, Laura? That is like a crazy thing, right?
A lot of interesting things, don't they?
It is interesting. You know, let's talk about this, because I want to just introduce fly high living for people, because this is something we're going to be talking about a lot as we move forward together. But fly high living and the metaphor of it and what it means is really powerful. It's the notion that I could either soar like an eagle, or my dream, jump in a fighter jet and zip around on the sky and thinking that I am maybe top none. But the point is, but what is this like for you? What is fly high like for you? What does it really mean for you in your life?
You know, one of the things that I'm going to answer that with a little story, because I think that when I boiled it down to what was the feeling that really percolated when I started down this road? And I'm going to take you back to when I was flying a B-52 over Australia. I had started my flying, this passion bubbled up for me to fly airplanes when I was 15. And I was 30 years old. So here's that 15 years of working towards that goal. And so here I was in Australia with my crew. I'm the aircraft commander. We are on a mission. It's a gorgeous day with the little puffy clouds. And I looked over my co-pilot, and I looked back, and I saw where I was, and I realized I had made it. And my ultimate statement at that moment was, oh my gosh, they pay me to do this. I am flying 500,000 pounds of airplane, 500 feet off the ground over Australia, and they pay me to do this. And I'm thinking, man, I have worked my whole, up to this point at age 30, all my life to get to this spot. And to me, that's the feeling that I'm trying to transmit with Fly High Living is that there are things, there are challenges, there are struggles, there are goals, there are all kinds of things that are happening in our lives, and periodically that all gels together. Your work comes to a spot where you can actually look around and go, man, wow, look, and truly, you felt this jumping out of airplanes. People fly high living. Climbing Mount Everest could be that moment. I've been to the top of Mount San Jacinto, not quite as high as 10,800 feet, but it's that feeling that you've done something that you've really wanted to do for a while, that there was an accomplishment perhaps, and truly that. You and I have talked some about this. One of the things that's interesting to me is that feeling can be achieved in lots of different levels. One of the things that I did recently is we did this exercise where you realize you remembered a thing that you were successful when you were like 9-10 years old, then something that you were successful with when you were 18-20 years old, and something that you were successful at recently. And one of the things that I found is that at 10 years old, that Fly High Living moment was when they took the training wheels off my bike.
Oh.
I mean, that was I'm driving my bike.
Yeah.
And it's that feeling that, whoa, I'm out here. That's Fly High Living. That's where I like to be.
Well, we're gonna continue to talk about this. I'm gonna actually skip the break because I want to make sure that we continue this moment. One of the things I love about Fly High Living is that Fly High Living is the center of the Oreo cookie, so to speak. Ooh. Fly High, is coupled by Dream On and Live Adventurously. These are the things we talk about. But what you said, I want to get back to something you said that's so important. What I heard you say about that bike story is this. Each of us has a story, a place, a pivotal moment, some point in time in life that we remember as perhaps that first time when we had a sense that we could be something more than we were at that moment. What I love about what you're doing in your coaching platform, Laura, is this. It doesn't matter where the listeners are that are listening. It doesn't matter if you're already wealthy and you've got everything you need and there's just a little bit something that you feel you're missing, or if you're like the journey of my life, you may be thinking, I am not going to have a home next week. There is something for each of us to accomplish, isn't there?
Wholeheartedly, and to me, that's the exciting thing. Is that I'm a little further down the road than some other people. I would say I'm in my late middle age right now.
Yeah.
And so I've done a lot of things, and I think that you're absolutely right. The life is this roller coaster, and there's times where you're grappling to find a place to live. And then there's other times where you're doing very well. And my story has I've been down those, I know you have. And I would dare say that that's part of human living. But to me, the exciting piece is no matter where you are on that journey, whether you're, 15 looking to fly airplanes like I was so many years ago, I did get to a spot, and we'll eventually get to talk about this, where I retired from the Air Force, and there was so you're just going to keep doing the same thing you're doing. It's like, no.
One more time, Laura. No. Benny, for you, chime in with us. Ready? 1, 2, 3. No. Yeah, Justin, you too. No. Exactly. No. Because where is that going to take us? If we keep doing the same things over and over and over again, and we're not getting the results that we want in the world that we live in today, that is called what? That is called insanity.
Insanity. Well, it is.
You went out, you studied with Mary Morrissey. See, you continue to grow and change. Me too. I was down and out in New Jersey, and I went back to school.
I pondered this. I was walking the other day, and I was pondering this. And think about this. What if I had the magic wand, the princess wand, and I bonked you on the head and I said, every wish that you ever wanted and for every second you could have instantaneously. And I look at myself and I, for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, that sounds like a really, really fun thing. But after a while, you realize that this life here on earth isn't valuable until you have some possibility of struggle. I mean, if I could instantaneously fly and not even worry about crashing, and always knew that everything was going to work out fine. I fly gliders now, so maybe I'm 300 miles away and I know for sure I'm going to make it back. What's the fun in that? So I think one of the things that I've learned is that although we grapple with this, I wish my life wasn't such a struggle. On the other hand, if it wasn't any struggle at all, it would be worthless.
Yeah.
And I think that part of the thing that you were getting at, and I look at life as potentially as a large staircase. And one of the things I think is fun is to struggle and get to a spot. For instance, I struggle, and I learned to fly airplanes. Now, when I retire, everybody goes, hey, now you have the life you need, right? Now it's just coasting out till you're 65, now it's 85. However far it's going to take you, you're going to coast. And I'm thinking, coast? No, I don't want to just do the same thing over again. I could have gone to the airlines, but truly, in my heart, I know that we all are growing, living beings. And as much as people periodically say they don't like change, it gets incredibly boring.
It does.
In fact, I would dare say that would have been my initial quest. When I look back and think about, well, why flying and why did that start? And one of the things that I realized is that as a 14, 15-year-old kid laying on my back in a field in Minnesota, thinking, is this not the question? Is there more to life than this? And think about it. I had everything I needed. I had food, I had shelter, I had a wonderful house, a wonderful family, and I'm laying in a field going, God, there's got to be more to life than this. And I'm looking up and I see an airplane go by and I go, there
it is. There it is.
That up there looks cool. If I could do that.
I know.
Fun.
I mean, this is really what we're talking about today when we're saying fly high. Now, I must say, I didn't grow up in the fields. I grew up in New York City, but I too had a similar experience. However, my experience got me into trouble in that my movie that I absolutely loved, and we went to the movies a lot as kids, because what else are you going to do other than hang out on the street and steal basketballs from the community center? Uh-oh, did I actually say that?
I give up.
So the movie that changed my life was Gypsy Rose Lee with Natalie Wood. Now, I was so taken by Natalie Wood and the whole Gypsy movie, right? Can you imagine all of a sudden be so taken by that movie and you're coming home and your family asks you, and somehow you're having the big Italian dinner, and you're sitting around the holidays, and they go around and they ask all the little kids, what do you want to be? And they get to me, and I'm like, a stripper. So, this is it. But guess what?
You're a surprising child.
Oh, there we go. But what happens with that? I got something for you. Look at my wand.
You got the wand.
Look at that. And it's got rhinestones in it. Can you see that? This is my silver wand.
Ooh, I need one. I'm going to have to.
I know. But listen, dreaming is one thing. sometimes we have to do some work. Sometimes we have to lift some things up. Sometimes we have to lift ourselves up. Sometimes we have to lift others up. And I think you and I share an interest in that. We looked at our lives and we said something like, what do we have to learn? But also, what do we have to change? And both of those things don't necessarily take us down the same path, do they?
No, I would agree. That's an interesting new path to go. For sure. One of the things, with the magic wand that you have, one of the things I think people grapple with, and I know I did, and I think this connects to most people, is that we all start having these dreams, these ideas of things that we could do, but then those ideas get pushed away. Or I came up with this the other day, and I want to do a new video on. Did you see the movie Up?
Yes, I did.
So the guy's got this house with all these thousands and thousands of little balloons.
Yeah.
So here was my thought. As little kids, we are blowing up little balloons and attaching them to our little backpack, and we are floating around like nobody's business. I mean, we can, when you mentioned the fact that you were at dinner and everybody asked you the main question, what are you going to be when you grow up in life? And that's kind of the thing that happens as a kid. The challenge to me is this, is that as you grow up, then the people around that table or others start popping those balloons. So you may have dreamed up 30 balloons and you're starting to lift off and you're gonna fly high, and then you can't do that. You don't have the right education. You can't do that. You're not in the right town. You can't do that. And all of a sudden your balloons pop and you're kind of walking around on the ground. And after a while you stop blowing up your little balloons. And so I think that the essence of what you're saying is that, it does take work. You have to continually be blowing up those balloons and filling them with air and attaching them to you and building a vision of where you want to go. And that's the thing that helps lift you off the ground and take you to where you want to go. But there is definitely work. You can't just dream. How many people have you talked to in your life that said, "Oh, iPhone, I thought of that 10 years before Steve Jobs."
Yeah. Oh, totally right.
It's like, but so if you thought of it, why didn't? I dreamed up cars and airplanes, and I've thought of it all. But there's one thing to think of it all, but there's another thing to take that idea and move forward with it. And I think that's, one of the things that I absolutely love is that I have lived my life through a series of at least 2 hero's journeys and a whole bunch of other great adventures in my life. And a lot of what I've learned is the tools that it takes and the kind of work that it takes to move you forward, and like you say, from wherever you are. If your goal is to get rid of the training wheels, or you want to drive a car, or you want to fly a plane, or you want a new relationship, health. There are a lot of people out there that can barely get up and walk down the front door. Maybe your goal is to be able to walk to the mailbox. That's a vision.
Well, I mean, I shared this before. At my lowest points in life, the reality is sometimes, especially if you have a spiritual practice of some sorts, I look back at my lowest points of life, and I am so struck by how the intuition of what my next move is going to be. Everything from my boss, Dr. Roz Doctor, firing me, that was like her real name, firing me, and yelling, and the veins, the popping at the neck, the veins like that. And all I could think about was, oh my gosh, does Columbia still have my application? Now, we're going to talk about this when we come back from break. And also we're going to give away 2 copies of Laura's book. What was it in me and in you that helped our intuition guide us against all odds? It took me 13 years to get an undergraduate degree. Do you feel me on this? Why would I even be thinking, does Columbia still have my application? When we come back, Laura's going to talk about what it is that helps us dream on. We've got 2 copies of her book to give away, lots of information about how you can work with her fabulous coaching program. And for any of you out there that are thinking about, I need a little help with my business, I need a spiritual practice, I need some guidance here on where I put my next foot, we're going to give you lots of information. We're going to take a short break. Fly high living.
I'm with
What
you.
is it? What is this fly high living? Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Laura Richer, host of On the Verge Radio. Sometimes you hear encouraging messages like transform your life now, become empowered, create the life you crave, and it all seems overwhelming and you're not sure where to start. I'm here to tell you that self-improvement is not always fun and easy, but it is always worth it. The path to creating positive changes begins with releasing the things that have been holding you back. Then you can create a life that inspires you. I know this because I've done it. You can find out more about what I do by visiting my website, seattlehealinghypnosis.com. I look forward to supporting you on your journey.
Amber Teal, founder of The Healthy Edge, is bringing you the hit show Healthy Edge Radio, living with power, passion, and purpose. Amber provides the support and tools necessary for you to finally release the weight and emotions that are hidden beneath the weight. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information on how you can take the next step with Amber, visit getthehealthyedge.com.
Live your magnificence, for the love of joy is a precious gift offered to us by Robert Schoenfeld, host of the Art of Powerful Living Radio. He takes us on an incredible 30-day adventure to expand our minds and hearts with the nectar of life, love, and joy. This book will help you bring more joy, love, health, abundance, adventure, romance, and magnificence into your life.
Integrate spirituality into your everyday lives on Universe Soul Heart Radio. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio as Kathleen Johnson explores the concept of sensible spirituality, keeping you grounded, connected, and centered on the path to wholeness. Kathleen has dedicated her life to facilitating holistic healing and wholeness in others. Listen to Universe Soul Heart Radio and learn how to flourish, grow, and impact all we do on planet Earth. For more information, go to universesoulheart.net.
Calling all moms, it's time to awaken your vibrant, intuitive, loving self in every area of your life. Join host Debbie Pokornik as she shares thoughts, stories, and tools to help you stand in your power. Listen to Vibrant, Powerful Moms helping everyday women create extraordinary lives. Mondays at 2:30 Pacific, 5:30 Eastern. For more information about Debbie, visit empoweringenergy.com. That's empowering with letters NRG.com.
The hardest thing.
Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Dr. Pat. I am here with Laura Meeks, and speaker, author, you name it. For more information about me, let me give you a little bit of information. You could go to thedrpatshow.com, or you can go to transformationtalkradio.com, or you can go to Transformation Radio and then get a sneak peek on what's coming. For more information about Laura, and we're actually going to be giving away 2 copies of Laura, your book. So how can people find out more about you, more about your coaching, sign up for your newsletter or tips, and then also tell us a little bit about your book, Dream On.
All right. Well, first of all, how do you get a hold of me? By far and away, the easiest way is to catch me on the internet. So LauraMeeksCoach.com is where my website is. And right on the very first page is a way to have an appointment with me. So one of the things I found is that for me, person to person is by far the most powerful way to engage with me is to talk to me. So I would love if the easiest thing to do is my calendar is filtered to that button that's on my site. So
cool.
If you want to talk to me, you just book a half an hour and we'll just talk on the phone or Skype. That to me is great. But I'm surely love to get email, Laura at laurameekscoach.com. You can Twitter me, Laura Meeks Coach. You can Instagram me, Laura Meeks Coach. I'm on Facebook, Laura Meeks Coach. Get it?
All of the above.
A theme here going on for right now, but and I think the exciting thing is that we are dramatically in the midst of a new wave going to fly high living. So all of those things will be forwarded once we bring out fly high.
Yeah.
But for now, that's good. And I also have an office telephone number. And again, probably the easiest thing to do is just check the website to do that.
Awesome. And, also for us, we're going to be making sure all of you have much more information on Laura moving forward. Tell us a little bit about the book, because we're going to give a copy away right now. Tell us a little bit about the book. Dream On is the first part of sort of the trilogy of Fly High Living. There's this idea of dreaming, but it's not dreaming, it's dream on. I think that's like an Aerosmith song, Benny, isn't it?
It is, and I was hoping that I could get the audio track to that.
Benny will play it during the next break.
Yeah, it's a little, for me to use it is a little more expensive. Something about Aerosmith needing rights to that or something. But let's talk about the book real quick.
Yeah.
One of the things that happened to me as I started down this road, and we'll eventually get to the spot of how I twisted into this land of helping tens of thousands of people change their lives. But one of the things that happened is I studied a lot of different people. And I pooled a lot of information together and collected it with my stories to give you kind of a short version of a smattering. It's kind of a buffet. Let's call it a buffet of personal change inside. So it starts really, the Dream On process to me goes back, and I want to go back to that kid that was in the field. One of the things that happened to me when I was in college was I was friends with a guy named Jim. And Jim was one of those eternally smart people. He could do anything, but he absolutely had no vision. And I was on the opposite side. I came to college with this incredible vision of flying jets. I had no idea. I had no background. I had no connections. I had no idea how I was going to get there. But I had this passionate vision of what that was going to look like. And if you can remember back into the 60s, 70s, what an airport looked like, it was gorgeous. It was like going to, people dressed up to go flying, and pilots and stewardesses wore these incredible uniforms. And for me, the vision was, man, I want to live a life where I am walking around in this really expensive uniform, and I'm going to restaurants and have all these gorgeous shops to shop in. That was my vision. And I carried that vision, and it's important, I think, for people to know this. I carried that vision. That's the thing. That's the beacon that keeps you on track. But it's not something that I was born with, and it's not something that Jim wasn't born with. I think the thing that I would pass on right at the Dream On stage is that the thing that happens is you get, and you used this word before, and I love it. The human mind was born with a faculty called intuition.
Yeah.
One of your 6 mental faculties. And with intuition, if you slow down and you listen carefully, then your intuition will give you hints as to where you go. But as far as building your dream, I have to tell you that it's kind of like those ideas we were talking about before. You can have this idea of a brand new jet, but unless you do something with it, then it's just an idea. And so what I'm saying is that for me, what I found is that I had the intuition that looking up and seeing that and flying an airplane was gonna be fun. But then I built on that. That's, I think, an important piece.
It is important.
You have to keep playing with that clay dough to turn it into something that looks like something. So for me, that meant I would read books and I would go to airports and watch airplanes. And when I flew, I had a chance to fly as a young person with my grandmother to Chicago, and I mean, that whole flight is still embedded in my head. The sound of the jets taking off, going through the clouds, coming out on top. I mean, I don't know how many millions of miles you've flown, but there's that spot.
Not like you. I'll tell you, I haven't flown like you. Yeah, but I'll tell you, I'm like you, though, Laura. I tried to join the military when I was 17 because, well, I was homeless. And I thought, okay, I tried living on the streets. I tried being Hare Krishna. I did all that. And my friend said, go join the Air Force. And I said, oh, I love to fly.
Yeah.
Now, come on. I didn't know that women back then, because I'm older than you, women back in the day, we're not going to fly a jet plane in Vietnam. I don't think so.
No, they didn't.
But nobody told me that.
No. Well, but understood. I mean that there are roadblocks in this process.
It didn't stop me though.
Yeah, well, and I think
that's
the next little piece. But it's that crafting and building of the vision. It's interesting in life because Jim found a decent job that he's had forever. And then I'm sure it's a very enjoyable position for him. But here's somebody who had so much more raw talent. At least I felt like he had so much more raw talent than I had. Yet I went off into the Air Force and I went through all the obstacles I went through, and eventually, after 15 years, got to fly jets. That whole process does take a little work, but I will say this: the difference. Work is a bad term for me, and some other people may have this vision of work. Work can sometimes connotate grinding out stuff, and what I would tell you is that it does take some effort. Let's say effort. It takes effort to follow your dream. But one of the things that I found different in different things that I've done in my life is there are things that are kind of work grinded out because I didn't like doing it versus flying. Richard Bach in one of his books, Illusions, talks about the fact that it was really easy for one of his characters to learn to fly airplanes. He said, well, why was that? He said, because I loved every second of it. If you love rock and roll, playing in a band is not work, and that's that. And I'll take that all the way back to the very first thing I said about Fly High Living. Fly High Living is about that idea that, man, I get paid to do this. So there are things in everyone's life that bring that passion, that fun, that enjoyment that if you got paid to do it, you would look at each other and go, oh my God, I can't believe they pay me to do this. And it's the process of listening to your intuition, using some tools, moving towards that, making a change. It's like you said, you wanted to go into the Air Force. That didn't work out, but that led you to a spot where you made a turn and you went somewhere else. And it's that curvy path to the top of the mountain that I found is really worth doing.
Well, and let's talk about this, because what I'd like to do right now, Benny, before we go to break, is I'd love to give at least one copy of Laura's book away, Dream On. And if you go to Laura's website, LauraMeeksCoach.com, you'll be able to see the book right there on the page. 1-800-930-2819 right now. to call in. Benny will get the call, and we'll take the first caller for the first copy of the book, and then we'll keep going. But what we're talking about here today is one of many conversations Laura and I are going to have, and that is because we're both on a mission. We're both on a mission to help other people not only change their lives, right, Laura, but not step in the potholes we've stepped in, because if there's something that she can say to you or help you along the way to guide you to this place that you want to get to and be more aware of possibilities and less immersed in the problems, all of this will happen in such a beautifully orchestrated way. 1-800-930-2819. When we come back, we're going to talk about what is it about this notion of change that can happen at 10,000 feet. What happens when your plane is chugging along and you're just shooting up for the sky, and then you realized you've gotten there? Do you stop there? Stay tuned, everyone. 1-800-930-2819. Hey, if you can't call in, go to transformationtalkradio.com, type your name, your address in there. So, we can send you the book that way, too. We'll be right back.
Every time that I look in the mirror, all these lines in my face getting clearer.
Thrive is what we experience when our mind, body, and soul operate as one. When we thrive, we excel on all levels. Thrive is the mindset that matters. It is essential to our being. Have you ever found yourself looking for the instruction manual on how to thrive? You'll find everything you need to help you feel strong, powerful, and peaceful in your own body. So don't waste any more time. Visit thrivebyjen.com today.
Are you traveling most of your day? Do you want to take Transformation Talk Radio with you anywhere you go? Well, guess what? There's an app for that. Just go to the App Store on your Apple device or the Google Play Store on your Android and search Transformation Talk Radio. Catch all of our live shows no matter where you are. Thanks for listening.
In this day and age, if you don't reinvent yourself, you may never find balance, peace, and the sustainable life that is your birthright. Angela Watson Robertson, known as the Reinvention Warrior and the host of breakthrough radio show Masters of Reinvention, is here to help you reinvent every area of your life. Tune in and hear from the best in the personal transformation business and discover tips and tools for positive change. Live every month on Transformation Talk Radio.
Tune in to the Psychic Professors Show, The Voices of Spirit Radio, with international medium and spirit artist Dr. Susan Barnes on Transformation Talk Radio, featuring a variety of spiritual topics such as psychic art, spiritualism, EVP, psychic development, and mediumship. This hit call-in show provides listeners with breakthrough wisdom to enliven and enlighten their lives. Visit spiritartgallery.net for show days and times.
Get ready to experience Truth Talk Radio with host Deb Acker. Tune in to Truth Talk Radio each Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com to illuminate the truth in your daily life as you experience life, love, and abundance from a whole new perspective. This hit show will leave you feeling lighter and bring you into a place of infinite possibilities every day in every way. Visit TruthTalkRadioshow.com for upcoming transformative topics and guests.
Interested in deepening your spiritual practice? The School for Esoteric Studies offers online training to spiritual seekers from all paths of life and individual coaching. Our courses synthesize Eastern and Western spiritual traditions based on meditation, study, and service applied to everyday life. To learn more about our courses and services, please visit www.esotericstudies.net.
Are we going to hear him scream, Benny?
Oh, Benny.
Yes, Benny.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for bringing my dreams to life so I can fly high and live adventurously with Laura Meeks.
Yeah.
1-800-930-2819. We're giving copies of Laura's fabulous book. But before we just jump ahead, again, go to the website, laurameekscoach.com. Chat with Laura, get to know her, take a look at her program, because one of the things Laura and I learned along the way, we cannot do this alone. Right now, I have 4 different coaches, and Laura, as a coach, is still getting coaching. Let's talk about this 10,000 foot level here, Laura. And, you and I know that things take work. They do. And I'm willing to do the work. You're willing to do the work. But when we say no to that thing that we don't want, we're automatically saying yes to possibilities. Help us understand what happens when we move from the realization, I don't want that life, I don't want that job, I don't want that relationship. And now we freed ourselves from that, and we're now in this absolute beautiful bubble of yes. How much spirituality does that take?
That does take a change, and I love where you're going. That first of all, to go from no to yes. This world that we live in is I believe a spiritual world, and it is a contrasting world. So there is light and dark, there is up and down, there is on and off, and so there is also yes and no. So there's stuff that we concentrate on, things that we don't want, and the only way that you can know what you do want is you got to know what you don't want. But here's the but in that. But don't spend your whole life figuring out what you don't want. I mean, it's that I'm a real strong believer in the spiritual laws. Spiritual law of attraction is one of the minor laws, and one of the things I learned early, and when we talk about a spiritual journey, I started out. The short version is this: I started out as kind of a Unitarian, got married, became a Catholic. Did that very adamantly or enthusiastically for a while, and then left the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
And found the Spiritual Living Center, which took me to an incredibly higher level. And so one of the things that I want to include in this is that it is very important to know that yes, we as spiritual beings having an earth experience have control over some of the stuff that we're doing, but it is very important that you tie into that energy to keep going towards your yes, because as much as we would like to think that we are in control of all the stuff that's going on, the longer I live and the more that I help people realize that really this is a collaborative effort. There is a lot more going on here than what you can see with your 5 senses, and so that's going to take us into a new land. But to go from your no to your yes is going to involve the fact that you're going to have to work on your what I will call the paradigm. That's a word I like, but the idea of how does the world work is an important concept. We learn that, sadly, from people who may not really understand it very well. But as you grow up, you start learning all these things, and that becomes your model of how the world works. And if you try to apply, and I think I've done this a number of times in my life. Pilot training was one of them, where I just felt like if I just worked 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, 15 hours a day, 18 hours a day. If I just work harder, I can force it into place. And it turns out in my life and my teaching that you actually don't have to force stuff to happen. It works much better if you flow. And I love this analogy. if you're in a river, where if you're going to go river rafting, and I forget who told me this story, but they were going to go river rafting, and she said the issue was this: is when you jump in the river raft and you go out into the river, you don't start paddling upriver. You turn and you go down the river. You're going with the flow. And so often we come up with a vision of the thing that we want to do, and then you start forcing it into place. I can make these people do this, and I can do that, and you're paddling upstream. Whereas if you would, meditate is a tool that I like, but in essence, pay attention to your intuition, your imagination, some of the other tools and techniques that we have. Then it's much easier. It's much easier. You mentioned one thing else, and I wanted to add this in is the idea of the power of tools. You could read books, and you could just do it yourself. The do-it-yourself life. Self-help books have been around forever, and we all have read them. But interestingly, they're not as effective. And I would say that part of the challenge is this. It is kind of like building a house with a handsaw and a hammer. Now, can you do it? Absolutely. It might take you a long, long time. And for me, I look at my watch and my age, and I think, okay, I don't have like infinite time left. So to me, part of the value of having a coach and being around people like you and me and others is that those are power tools. Yeah. Those are the power saws and those. I don't know. I haven't used one yet. The power hammer, where the
jackhammer.
They built my whole deck. These guys came out when I was in Virginia and built my whole deck like in 3 hours. Yeah. I mean, they just sawed wood and they made it all happen. Yeah. That's what you want. I mean, in this land of stair stepping, imagine that if you spent your whole life with a handsaw and a hammer, that you could get up 2 steps, and that was important. You got some stuff out of life. But imagine if you had power tools. This is the difference between flying an ultralight and a fighter jet. I can get airborne in an ultralight, and I can go around at 30 miles an hour, and it's fun. I got to tell you, it's fun.
Yeah, it's like the difference between raking the leaves yourselves and getting a blower.
Yeah.
Thank you. Listen, Laura, you and I are going to be talking much more. We've got an entire series we're planning for people. This hour goes by so quickly. One last question. I got about a minute. All right. What is your personal message? What would you like to leave us with? And thank you so much for all that you do.
Well, thank you very much. And if I had one message, I would say this to anybody that's out there. Every human has a unique gift, a reason to be down here. And if you can find that, then you can connect to that and live a life you would love. That life where I look at you, Pat, I go, man, I can't believe they pay me to do this. That's out there for everyone. And it's there. Let's go do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it together. Laura Meeks,
Dream.
Everybody. Go to laurameekscoach.com. Lots more coming up. We're going to take you on a complete journey with Laura from beginning all the way through to living adventurously. Fly high living, everyone. I'm Dr. Pat. Laura, thank you. Benny, thank you. Justin, thank you. Benny. We'll see you in a minute. We've got another hour coming up on Transformation Talk Radio.
Lights go out and I can't be saved. Tides that I tried to swim against put me down upon my knees. Oh, I beg and plead, singing, come out of things unsaid. Shouldn't I pull off my head and a trouble that can be.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.